Magic Kingdom, we're busy testing Tron Life Cycle 1.
Opening when? Are they really not going to announce a date?
I am thrilled to announce to you today that Tron Life Cycle Run will debut in the spring of 2023.
What?
Hey everyone, welcome back to A Couple Travelers. In case you're new here, I'm Andy, this is Jenna, and we are YouTube content creators who focus on theme parks, cruises, and resorts. So if you're new here, welcome to the channel.
But before we jump into today's video, I just want to mention that I am a travel agent. I work very closely with Walt Disney World, Universal, Sandals and Beaches, different cruise lines. So if you are interested in a travel agent, which by the way, it's free to work with one, my contact information is listed in the video description below.
Yes, we are here today to talk about D23, which is the biannual fan event that takes place in Anaheim, California for Disney fans. So we are lifelong Disney fans. We went to the parks growing up. A lot of the videos that are out on our channel now are from past Disney trips.
Yeah.
So we both took the time to watch the Parks Panel presentation, which is basically this big event every 2 years as part of D23 where the Disney Parks chairman comes out and talks about the news that's coming in that segment over the next, call it few years. Mm-hmm. So we have some thoughts about it.
Yeah.
And so this video is going to kind of talk about summarizing that panel, what's our take on it, and then more importantly, like where do we think the parks are going in the future based off of our knowledge and expertise. On a high level, there are two kind of, we'll call them problems with the parks right now. The first of which is where the parks are going, and the second of which is where the parks aren't going. So to break that down a little bit, this video is going to talk about the latter, which is where the parks aren't going, which we kind of got from the D23 Expo yesterday. The former is where the parks are going, which is kind of a conversation for a different day. It is expensive to go to Disney. It's operationally challenging. Yeah. It's very logistically
exhausting.
Yeah.
Having to get up every day before 7 a.m. to purchase Genie Plus and make your first selections. And it's not a vacation when you have to do that. But that's, again, another story for another day.
Yeah. So again, we're going to talk about where the parks aren't really going. And that's really kind of the theme coming out of the D23 Expo is that we don't really know, which as Disney fans, that's kind of discouraging.
Right, and especially usually coming out of D23, I remember the last time it was pre-pandemic, we were watching it and we were just huge announcement of confirmed things. And this was more blue sky ideas so far in the future that it's hard to even imagine at this point.
Yeah, and let us caveat as well, we understand that, the 3 years that has happened between now and the 2019 Expo, It's been a lot.
Yes.
The pandemic mixed up a lot of things. So we fully acknowledge that and understand that Disney has a business and they cut down on capital expenditures, which delayed Tron and delayed Cosmic Rewind and all these things. So we're not naive in that regard, but at the same time, you had 3 years to kind of reinvent your vision, knowing your financial situation and the logistics side of things. And we were kind of a little surprised with the lack of information we were given.
And so let's back up. Let's start at the beginning.
Yeah.
D23 started, we're curled up on the couch, all excited, ready to go. And they come out the gate really, really strong with a performance of Happily Ever After, which was mind-blowing, and everyone was going crazy in the comments, oh my God, they're bringing it back. And
that was rumored for a while.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it also was kind of a joke when Enchantment first came out, and people were remember somebody faked a tweet, and it was oh, we listened to everyone's complaints, and we're gonna stop Enchantment and resume Happily Ever After.
They photoshopped a Disney press release, on that imagery, and it turned out to be fake. But
now it's actually happening. They're gonna bring it back after the 50th,
which is great. And so that really started the presentation on a high note.
Right.
And what it really showed as well is that Disney is actually listening to their fans, because when Enchantment came out and when Harmonious came out, both earmarked as 50th anniversary nighttime spectaculars for Walt Disney World, they were not well received. There were surveys sent out about it. So that's actually a good thing coming out of D23 is that it's showing that Disney is actively listening, right? The theme of the other nuggets that they did drop at the presentation is consistent with that. They announced that a Figment meet and greet is coming to Epcot, which
people lost their mind over that.
if the popcorn buckets were any indication of Figment's popularity and Disney didn't realize it at the time,
they
now do because it made them a ton of money.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
You're also getting the Hatbox Ghost coming to
Yes.
the Walt Disney World Haunted Mansion, which is already in Disneyland.
Right.
Fans have talked about that for a while. And you're also getting the Magic Happens parade coming back to Disneyland, which is very beloved by fans. And in the same manner, they've talked about it wanting to come back, and now Disney is officially bringing it back. So between the nighttime shows, and Harmonious is being replaced too.
Yes, so Magic Kingdom and Epcot will be getting new nighttime shows after the 50th. So basically, Enchantment and Harmonious are only, they went through all of that work for it only to run for the 18 months of which... Are the barges staying?
Yes, absolutely.
They're such an eyesore.
That's completely right, but they're still a business, and if they made a multi-million-dollar investment in those barges, they're just going to adapt the new content.
Yeah. We said if you can pick up a show and put it in any other park, and it still would be fine, then it's not a show for that park. Epcot, it was just a cop out the way they did Harmonious. It was just let's pick random countries where we have IP and let's just do 20 seconds of the most popular song from that show and call it
And Enchantment was a lot of the same, right? It was just this mix of IP that there wasn't really a lot of nostalgia for the 50th. Just within the last couple of weeks, they added a 2-minute Walt intro to Enchantment, which is finally acknowledging the 50th anniversary after, months. But regardless, Enchantment and Harmonious are being replaced. So again, Disney is listening, which is great. At the same time, with those announcements that we went through, and there are some other things in here for some of the international parks we might not be referencing, like Disneyland Paris, Walt Disney Studios Park in Paris is getting a Tangled attraction. There's a lot of very little stuff happening. Essentially, the bar is very low for Disney right now. Again, this is the opportunity for them to announce a Galaxy's Edge, which they did in 2015, and everybody lost their mind.
Or a fifth gate, it needs to come.
Which, again, we could create another video all on that topic. But the bar is very low for Disney, and with D23 being the opportunity for you to really wow your most dedicated fans and also get a lot of press coverage, there's a lot of stuff they left just on the cutting room floor. A couple of those things are the Disneyland Treehouse, previously the Tarzan Treehouse. It's still under a facade. Nobody knows what's happening with it. So that's just kind of sitting out there in the park.
Yep.
We could have easily gotten an opening date for Fantasmic.
They said it was coming so soon, so why wouldn't you hype people up with that?
Yeah. There's rumors that maybe it's because they're running into some tech challenges where they still don't really quite know. But again, an easy low-hanging fruit to get with your fans, at a panel like this.
Also, the People Mover in Disneyland.
Yeah.
Which the entire how long was the broadcast? 90 minutes?
Yeah.
Over 90 minutes. 1 in 6 comments was, when are you going to talk about the People Mover? When are you going to talk about the People Mover? That is probably such an easy thing for them to get that back up and running.
It's an easy thing for them to announce because they know it's going to be a win, but it's a big undertaking from an operational and an investment standpoint. So I'm not
I know it's not as simple as, we made this costume and now we have a new character for a meet and greet, but
I'm not giving
it's
them
not
a
a new land.
No, it's not.
It's a ride that was there that needs some
a lot of TLC.
Yeah.
So it's something your fans are talking about, and if you wanted to really give them something to this was the marquee announcement of the expo, that would have been that.
Yeah.
Right? And even as not Disneyland locals, we would have loved that anyway.
Oh, of course.
For the people who are out there as locals.
Right.
A couple other things too, just very quickly, they did confirm that the Woody's Roundup Barbecue in Hollywood Studios is opening in 2022. We're almost in Q4, we don't know when that's happening, right? the old site of Stitch's Great Escape in Tomorrowland and Magic Kingdom, that is still sitting dormant.
I mean, I thought I thought during the panel they were going to announce a whole revamp of Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
Because that's been rumored forever. And
Yeah.
when you have an empty attraction space and a whole land that needs, again, TLC, like I was shocked it wasn't even mentioned. Like nothing about it was brought up.
Again, like that's a big takeaway here is like people who are kind of following the rumor mill a little bit. And like we were just kind of left with a lot of questions and a little disappointed.
Yeah. Speaking of disappointments, Tron
not
opening until spring of 23.
I'm shocked.
All signs pointed to it being like, we thought they were going to be like, previews start next week. Like that's really what we thought. And when he said spring, we were
I was mind blown because
shocked.
Like the reason they opened Remy's on October 1st last year because like that was done.
They waited to do it on the 50th, which made sense. So we thought maybe they would try to open this one on the 50th.
Yeah.
Again, or the 51st anniversary. And
even looking at the construction progress right now, I think October 1st might have been a little overzealous on their part, but like
even to start previews or something?
Maybe to start previews, but like, you know, Disney always like that's the start of their new fiscal year is October 1st. So they want something big coming out of the gates to show their new fiscal year is off to a strong start financially. Right. So that's the whole reason why they did Remy's to help with that bottom line.
And the new shows had opened at Harmonious.
So alas, for some reason it took them 6 years to build a cloned attraction. Granted, they didn't do construction on it for a period of time, which is probably a conversation for even another video, which, you know, Universal still did construction during that time. Disney paused. Regardless, 6 years to build the attraction, we're kind of left scratching our heads. Yeah. The other reason why we thought this D23 was going to be big, in addition to it being the first one in 3 years, is that Universal has this literally epic park, epic universe.
Yep, a whole new theme park, not just an expansion.
Yep. Opening, rumored right now, or slightly confirmed to be summer of 2025. So it's still a ways away, but that is literally happening. Construction is going on as we speak. And coming out of the expo, Disney does not have any concrete plans on how they are planning to respond to that.
Right. So we thought that there would be some major concrete plans or announcements, but instead it was more like, these are our blue sky ideas, and it basically was like a brainstorming session.
It was strange.
I mean, there was some concept art and stuff, but it was not a this is happening. These are some ideas we thought of.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll happen. Maybe they're going to completely change.
Josh D'Amaro heavily caveated that part of the presentation, saying like he explained to people what blue sky is, which if you're not a real avid Disney fan, you might not be familiar. Which it's basically the term "the sky's the limit," and it's the brainstorming session that Imagineers go into to basically come up with a new land or park or attraction.
Because I mean, that's how a lot of the best ideas start. Is you're shooting for the moon, and then it's like, oh, can we actually make this happen? Yeah. And sometimes they can.
Well, it's the analogy of like, you know, how many Imagineers does it take to turn on a light bulb, right? And the Imagineer says, does it have to be a light bulb?
Right.
So it's why they do what they do. Because when they announced Galaxy's Edge in 2015, that was a direct response to the Wizarding World.
Right.
At Universal.
Right.
Is Universal went all in on a extremely detailed and themed land for one of their biggest properties. And Disney was like, all right, we're going to do the same with our own. We have Lucasfilm now. Let's go all in on Star Wars. And they did, and Galaxy's Edge is great. But so we were expecting something of that caliber.
Right. And I mean, what they did announce, so for example, Dino Land at Animal Kingdom, we knew that this was coming. It was going to get, you know, we knew that was coming.
Yeah.
And their blue sky idea is Zootopia, which had been rumored.
Mm-hmm. If you're not familiar, Joe Rohde is a retired Imagineer who led Disney through so many great projects. And he was the head creative behind Disney's Animal Kingdom. And so he is known for going to Nepal and really like getting into detail for Expedition Everest and bringing all these genuine artifacts back and everything. And there was a tweet that he sent out in late 2019 to which somebody was like, basically like, why can't Zootopia happen in Animal Kingdom, as these rumors started to go about. So this
Right.
rumor is like 3 years old. And Joe Rohde tweeted back and he said, the animals are proxies for humans and human issues rather than animals in their own right facing animal-related issues. We try to enforce the no pants rule, classic characters accepted. Essentially what he's saying is that Animal Kingdom is looked at through the lens of how humans view animals and conservation, not vice versa.
Right. So not animals being police officers.
Correct.
And I love Zootopia. And
I
I
do
can
too.
see what they're trying to do, and they want to get the IP in the park.
They're forcing it.
They're forcing it. But also, why is if you're going to do it, then just do it and own that as a Zootopia area. Having Zootopia next to Moana, I don't understand the connection between the two, and I don't understand Moana and Animal Kingdom.
Especially when it's already coming to Epcot.
Yes.
Because I get it in Epcot because it's an international representation of Polynesia and that area of the globe.
And it was going in that, Epcot, the nature.
World nature.
World nature. So, like, I got that. But Moana's story does not belong in Animal Kingdom.
It's a stretch, but they might be like water and sea life and creatures, but
that's not what the story is.
It's not.
So, and I get the whole, all right, well, you have a ride about a Yeti.
Yeah.
And I get, okay, you have Avatar. But Avatar's story has the conservation tie.
Which, again, is humans and how they impact animals, not vice versa.
Right. So
if we were to treat Avatar as animals.
Right. So I just didn't, he was upset about both. I'm not so upset about Zootopia. I'm more upset about you're shoving two IPs that don't go together in the same area, and Moana in general being in there.
And it's only a 2-acre land. It's not big.
So unless is there anything behind it that they could expand into?
There's the Nemo Theater right next door, which
could go
be the new spot of a show building. We don't know.
Yeah.
What also made me upset about that announcement was that in the concept art, they literally showed a reskinned Triceratops spin. So it's not like we're not even just gutting the land. It's just they're going to take and put the same Dumbo, Aladdin, Triceratops spin flat ride, but now themed to Moana.
The dinosaur ride is a beloved ride of mine.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to,
Its days were numbered.
Yeah, I knew it. Your point about Triceratops and them just retheming it, that's kind of what I hope that they do for Dinosaur. I love the ride system because when I go to Disneyland, I love Indiana Jones. It's the exact same ride. It's just different theming. So, if it's Zootopia, I can see them doing the police chase in a car.
So the idea is that the police chase is going to one of the international parks. I forget which one. Where they're building the Zootopia land right now. And that's going to be a trackless ride system. It is Shanghai, I believe. And they have an exclusivity clause that their attractions based on IP need to be somewhat different.
Oh.
So Disney, they can't do the exact same ride. So what they would do is basically utilize the same ride system. It helps because they don't have to gut the complete building. They keep the track, they keep the ride system, they just retheme it and reskin the cars. Let's move away from Zootopia and Animal Kingdom. They also announced some stuff from Magic Kingdom.
Which, can I just say right off the bat, the things that they have planned to now go behind Big Thunder Mountain.
Yeah.
Why can't that you have enough ideas in that space that could just be a new park?
But my biggest issue with the stuff that was Blue Sky announced for Magic Kingdom is that one is for Coco, one is for Encanto. You have Epcot.
Coco, I love Coco, but we have a Mexico pavilion in Epcot. So if you want to expand that story, why don't you do something there? Why don't you retheme the Three Caballeros to be a Coco ride? And also, why don't you build a Columbia pavilion in Epcot? You have the space for more pavilions and do something Encanto related there, as opposed to just putting things where they don't belong.
I'm not going to harp on Magic Kingdom too much because that concept art was even less detailed than the Animal Kingdom one.
And it also had a villains section.
Which made a lot of people lose their mind because
Yes.
that Disney rumor for a fifth gate
Was
has been
villains.
swirling since 2003.
Yeah.
So we've talked about what was discussed at D23, what wasn't discussed,
Yep.
and our overall take on it. Now it's what does this really mean going forward? And so I want to take a second just to acknowledge Josh D'Amaro and his leadership, because he's gotten some bad rap in the press recently about some, quotes that he makes about legacy fans. I don't know how much of that is coming from him versus how much of that is part of the forced Disney communications machine that they have this so tightly wound narrative, and how much of it is being frankly forced upon and by the CEO, Bob Chapek, because if everything that we've heard about him is true, he's this charismatic, really genuine.
Everybody seems to really love him.
Authentic person. So I'm going to continue to give him the benefit of the doubt. And here's why. During the presentation yesterday, he made a conscious effort to go off of, again, the very carefully crafted script. It could have been written this way, but he was saying "I" a lot. And one quote really stuck out to me. He says, "I know that change can be hard and we may not get things perfect all the time." So that's him as the leader of the Disney parks experiences and products saying, I hear you. I get you as our dedicated fans, and we want to be able to deliver for you. However, Disney and its kind of bureaucracy and kind of politics, we as a company may not deliver for you all the time, but me as a person, I want to for you. So it kind of leads me to believe, how much are his hands tied here?
Right. And if he didn't have people above him, if he was the person in charge, I think it would be a different story.
It would be, because at the end of the day, he reports directly to Bob Chapek.
Right.
And we could go on for him about another video, but he is widely unliked. We're not huge fans of him, to be transparent.
No.
So I'm going to continue to give Josh D'Amaro the benefit of the doubt, because everything that he said in the upfront of the presentation, I took as genuine, even if the stuff that he had to speak to missed the mark.
Right.
As much as this video has been a little bit disappointing and overly negative, I feel confident with him at the helm because he still has this inherent want to deliver for the fans and for families.
He will fight for the fans,
I
will believe.
And for cast members, which is important. Yeah. Now that this has been his first D23 that he actually gets to announce, and since the parks are under his clear vision going forward, and they have been, I'm going to kind of give him he had to navigate financial implications coming out of the pandemic. How do you restart the parks, right? I believe his focus has been there. Now it's really how do we move forward? So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, and by direct association, we're going to give Disney the benefit of the doubt here. Again, that's really a lot of the takeaways coming out of D23. The last kind of key thing to keep in mind here is we're going to continue going to Disney.
Yes,
because
we love it.
We love it for what Walt wanted it to be and for what it stands for generations, not the politics and some of the decisions that are being made now, right? So if you see us produce Disney content, that's why. Right. And so we'll leave you with a question. The parks are more profitable than ever. Where is that money going? It doesn't take a lot of money to put an animatronic in the Haunted Mansion, to bring a new show, or to put somebody in a Figment costume. The reason we're putting out this video is because we love Disney. We have faith in the people and the brand. If you feel the same way, you also need to be doing the same thing. There are so many platforms right now that can be used to kind of keep Disney in check. And so our hope as Disney fans is that you will do the same. Leave comments on our videos, engage with us on Instagram, and do it on your own channels as well, because Disney's listening. Right.
So when you go to Disney and something is not to your liking,
speak up.
Speak up. Say, hey, I did not appreciate getting up every day at 6:50 to buy Genie Plus and to do this. And hey, where's this thing that was in the park 2 years ago? Keep holding them accountable, because they, as we learned from some of the announcements that they made at D23, they do listen.
Yes.
They do monitor for that. So if enough people are making a lot of noise about something, they're at least going to consider what to do about it. So,
I mean, we're going to know more in the coming months and years, and, hopefully our benefit of the doubt that we're giving Disney will prove to be correct. And, we'll see some really cool stuff coming to the parks in the future. But let us know what you guys think in the comments. We want to, like we said, create a conversation out of this. But that is going to be everything we have for today, guys. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and follow us on social media at Travelers.
And until next time, keep traveling.